Some parents were unhappy that Chappelle used the N-word during his Q&A. It's Chappelle. Chappelle used the N-word. You gonna tell a black man he can't use the N-word? What are we doing here? What's happening? There's only one thing I want in 2022. Just one thing. Well, I want $1 million. But okay, two things I want in 2022. I want us to stop listening to teenagers. Just stop. Stop listening to them. Stop trying to, I don't know, win their adoration. Try to educate them. No, just nothing. Let's do nothing with them. They're awful. They're awful. They're growing up in this social media age that makes them think that they are so smart and so wise and that they're going to change and fix the world. And I hate to say it, it looks like they want to make the world a much worse place. All these jokes that guys like me make, they want to cancel us and shut us down. They think they know the way forward. Well, there's one guy who is standing up to the teenage mob, as ridiculous as that might sound. And that is my good friend, Dave Chappelle. Good friend. We hang out all the time. Dave is out here telling these teens, listen, you're not as smart as you think you are. You keep causing a fuss on Twitter, getting people canceled, and I hate to say it, just shut the hell up. We're going to get into it. Before we do, don't forget to subscribe. Click that button, Veto Nation. The Veto Army grows stronger every day. And I want you beautiful bastard, to join the Veto Army. Let's get into the story. Now, I would think that anyone watching this channel by now is aware of Dave Chappelle's recent comedy special, The Closer, where he said some things about the transgender community. And some of the things he said, I hate to say it, sound like common sense to a lot of us. I understand that there's people who have differing views of gender, and, there's room for that conversation, but I think Chappelle having an opinion on those things is not unreasonable, especially as a comedian who's supposed to comment on these things and make jokes. However, a group of people were offended. We're not just the traditional woke squad, but of course the woke teenage brigade, the Junior Anti-Comedy League, as we call them. And some of those people go to Dave Chappelle's old high school, which he actually funds. Dave Chappelle is a great philanthropist and has donated tons of his money to this school. And I want to make there's always giant ads on the side. Whatever, we got the article here. Now, so Dave decided to go to his old high school and talk to some of these kids because he heard they were upset about his recent comments. And there was a wing of the school that is going to be named after Dave Chappelle, the Dave Chappelle Theater or whatever, and some of the kids were protesting that, saying they don't want the building named after a transphobic comedian. And Dave, rather than, he could have ignored it, he could have said nothing, he could have just, brushed it off. He decided to go and talk to these kids. And I think he set them straight. Dave Chappelle reportedly visited his old high school and did a Q&A session with staff and 580 students. That's a lot of students. He also handed out 600 Thanksgiving meals and tickets to a screening of his new film United, a documentary about his live comedy show grappling with the pandemic and the aftermath of the George Floyd trial. We saw some of that. Was that on YouTube? I forget. It's like a 13-minute set. It's very emotional. He gets into the case. And Dave Chappelle's a good guy, man. I like this guy. I hate to say it. Now, they are reporting that Chappelle was there with a camera crew. Of course, he's documenting everything that's going on in his life. That's what he has to at this point. That's his content. He's making documentaries and everything. And it's kind of good that he's out there documenting, a real talk with real students. It's good that he had cameras there. And he got a raucous, I'm bad at that word, reception of cheers. But, and here's what's important, some booze. There is no video of the event. Thankfully, Chappelle, as with all his shows, he tells you to lock your phone away. I don't need to see your crappy cell phone video. How about just have a conversation with the man? That's what he's there for. 8 students supposedly questioned Chappelle directly. Among them, a 16-year-old who called Chappelle a bigot and said, "I'm 16 and I think you're childish. You handled it like a child." Okay. So, again, teenagers are very stupid. I feel if there's any teenagers, I'll say this to any teenagers in my audience, you're smarter than other teenagers, and I fully believe that. I fully believe anybody who listens to this channel is smarter than the average bear. I have a very smart audience. But if you are a teenager, you have to recognize that the other teenagers around you are stupid as hell. Nothing Chappelle did was childish. He handled it like a comedian, frankly. If we remember, he said, I'm willing to have a conversation with the transgender community, but you can't just summon me like a magic genie. You have to actually ask to meet with me. And then as a little joke, he said, and you have to admit Hannah Gadsby's not funny. Well, that's just, he's a comedian. He's doing a bit. It's not childish. What did you want him to do? Get on his hands and knees and go, I'm so sorry that I have caused harm to this. Should he apologize to every group he makes jokes about? Teenagers, come on. You gotta get with the program. According to two students who relayed the conversation, Chappelle said, my friend, with all due respect, I don't believe you could make one of the decisions I have to make on a given day. Yeah, man. Look, dunking on teenagers is a national pastime. It's your God-given duty as an American to tell teenagers they're stupid as hell. And that, again, it's true, though. These kids, they go, well, I don't understand. How could you possibly do that? It's like, because you haven't finished developing your brain. You don't understand that when you have a complicated thought on a topic, like a transgender issue, you don't just go, well, I better shut up because I might offend somebody. No, you talk about it, teenagers. I know these guys live in this like anti-bullying society where they're like, well, you shouldn't hurt people's feelings. Yeah, not like for stupid stuff, but if it's like an important topic and the reason their feelings are getting hurt is because you have a difference of opinion, that's on them, man. What do you want? Some parents were unhappy that Chappelle used the N-word during his Q&A. It's Chappelle. Chappelle used the N-word. You gonna tell a black man he can't use the N-word? What are we doing here? What's happening? I can't use it. Chappelle can. That's the rules. When a student told him, your comedy kills. God, this is why I hate teenagers. This is why I hate... jokes don't kill people. Now, there can be mean-spirited jokes that are deliberately trying to cast, certain things on a race of people, trying to make you think certain races are stupid and deserving of, discrimination. Sure. But Chappelle's not out here making jokes like, oh, it's okay to, fuck with a transgender person or beat them up. No. He just said, listen, I think gender is a very real reality, biological gender. We can't deny it. Some of these TERFs, I hate to say it, might have a point. He didn't say, let's go kick transgender people in the face. That was not, he didn't kill anyone. Let's put it that way. Chappelle responded with the N-word saying, N-words are killed every day. And as I saw the original quote, this guy was saying, your comedy, you don't understand how many transgender people are dying. Okay, look, I don't want to be the guy who runs numbers. But if you want to talk about people dying in America and elsewhere, well, let's focus on America. Go look at the stats. If you're a black man in America, you have a higher chance of being killed than anybody. I don't care if you're trans, gay, whatever. You don't want to... I mean, I'm not saying you don't want to be a black man because it's great to be a black man, but it's not great to, have the highest murder rate in America. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm trying to not sound racist. I'm saying ridiculous things. Point is, it sucks, but that's a reality. It's very dangerous to be black in America. You have a chance, you're a higher chance of getting murdered, living in... more crime areas. Again, I'm dancing around different words, whatever. The point is, it's hard. It's hard for the black man. As a white man, I understand. I don't understand. I don't know the black experience. Let's be real. Politico said it was an antagonistic question. He said, Chappelle told the performing arts school students, I'm better than every instrumentalist artist. No matter what art you do in this school right now, I'm better than all of you. Is he wrong? Is he wrong? I don't care if you're the best 16-year-old violin player in the school. You ain't Dave Chappelle. Let's be real. That's a very real statement. That's great. He goes, I'm sure that'll change. I'm sure he'll be household name soon. I don't know if that was him actually encouraging them or being like, well, I'm sure you guys will really put me in my place. No, but he's saying, listen, I know you got a full head. You got a head full of ideas. You think you're hot shit. Okay. Why don't you take it from one of the most famous guys in the world? They didn't get here by happenstance. I might know what I'm talking about. I might not be as big a dummy and an idiot as you guys seem to think I am. One student left early. Chappelle said, of course she leaves early, dunking on her. Look, he says, this is my family, and whether they know it or not, I love these kids. I don't want to hear about any death threats to these kids. These kids don't deserve that. And they said he was really kind. I wish he had acted that way the whole time. He was no reason to be mean to us. He was just laughing at kids. Well, he's not. I don't think he's being mean to you, though. Okay? I'm being mean to you. I think teenagers are the stupidest people in the world. I think Dave Chappelle was just trying to give you a little bit of hard talk of like, listen, guys, You can't be upset at a comedian for doing his job. You can't be out here, protesting. And I hate to say it, the guy has donated millions upon millions of dollars to your school, and you're going to protest that they're going to name a building after him? Maybe take the good with the bad and go, listen, I disagree with the guy, but clearly he's got, the right ideas. Clearly he cares about this school. And you don't just donate your money for the hell of it. Clearly he must care about us in some way. So why don't I be not a teenager, but be like an adult, have an adult opinion on the situation, go, I respect our ability to disagree on certain issues, but I do think Dave Chappelle has his heart in the right place. I imagine most of these some of the teenagers are like, it's Dave Chappelle, I love him. So I'm sure some of them were fine, but I'm sure the ones who were mad at him were like, no, he's a transphobe. And Dave Chappelle even said he was goofing on these guys. Actually, hold on. I want to real quick. Here's how Pink News talks about it. So-called cancel culture victim Dave Chappelle is having a theater named after him. Okay. I don't know how we talk about this cancel culture thing. No, you can't cancel Dave Chappelle. Let's stop saying that Dave Chappelle is canceled. That's probably not the right way to put it. But it is the same sort of attacks on him indicative of they wish they could cancel him. Let's put it that way. Okay? The reason they can't cancel him is he's too big. Once you're making, we're in a capitalist society. If I go to a guy and I go, hey, I can make you $40 million if you give me a comedy special, he's not going to go, well, but Twitter doesn't like you. No, he's going to take the $40 million. You can't cancel the $40 million man. You can't do it. But there's lesser guys. There's guys like me, frankly. I can't make anybody $40 million. So if the mob comes after me, or even these, D-list, B-list celebrities, the amount of money they could potentially earn, Gina Carano is a good example. Now, I think Gina Carano should have just shut her mouth and stayed in line and made money from the Disney Corporation. But when push comes to shove and she's making a bunch of bad press for them, upsetting Jewish communities, and you can argue about whether or not, that outrage was justified or not, Disney goes, we're going to cut our losses. Why? We gain nothing from maintaining a relationship with you. What, you're a good actress? You're a so-so actress, to be fair. So why would we, if Gina Carano was the star of the show and making him a ton of money, it might have been a harder decision. But no, it's easy to cut her. So no, you can't cancel Dave Chappelle. But stop with this, just because you can't cancel the biggest guy in comedy doesn't mean cancel culture doesn't exist. And why is the LGBT community? Come on. I've talked to people in the LGBT community, and they are 100% behind Chappelle. They wish that their fellow countrymen, fellow queers and LGs and all the letters, they wish that those guys would just get on board. But Dave Chappelle has won the day. I don't know if he's won the day. They're going to rename the theater after him, as they decided. Dave Chappelle said, look, if you really don't want it to name it after me, let's have a little contest. You can come up with a different name, whichever name gets the most votes. And the school's like, shut up, Dave. We're just going to name it after you, okay? We don't care that the kids are mad. That doesn't matter because, again, they're teenagers. They're stupid. Their opinions don't matter. Once again, to the teenagers in my audience, you guys are fine. All your other friends, they suck until they subscribe to me. And the only way to be smart as a teenager is to subscribe to Vito Gesualdi. So they will be naming the theater after him. And here's a great statement from the school. Well, there has been extensive media coverage about the theater naming in Chappelle's most recent visit. The sources that have gone viral have been inaccurate, devoid of context, and here's the most important part, neglected to include the nuances of art. We gotta talk about statements like that. The nuances of art. That's what is so often lost today. Is you hear, well, Dave Chappelle said something offensive. Okay, but what was the context? What do you mean he said something offensive? Well, as part of a comedy routine, he drew upon some real life terms like turf and claimed to empathize with. Okay, so it was part of his comedy. It was part of a performance. It wasn't him on the street corner with a bullhorn saying, let's kill people. It was him saying, here's a complicated subject that I have some opinions on. The nuances of art. What a concept. I can't believe a school today, a high school, is willing to stand up and talk about the nuance of art. The idea you can even separate the art from the artist. You can go, I don't like what Dave Chappelle said in his special, but my God, the man has donated millions to our school. Clearly he cares about this community and the children within it. You don't just go, he's a bigot, cancel him. Beautiful. As an art institution, we educate our students on the importance of media literacy. Also very important. The importance of media literacy, as they say, they're saying a lot of the statements that we just read might be incorrect transcriptions of what these kids said, so I don't even know what was actually said. The importance of media literacy and art as a free and open form of expression to both reflect and challenge society. And the clear majority of students at the school favored naming the theater for Dave Chappelle. We want to demonstrate the importance of carefully listening to every voice within this diverse and inclusive community. Okay. Point is, the great Dave Chappelle. You got these people out here, well, cancel culture is not real. They're coming for his head. They're coming for all of our heads. And let's put it this way. If Dave Chappelle slips up and stops making money, they'll find a way to cancel him too. But don't worry about Dave. Dave has won. Dave will continue to win. Dave is always winning. But I would say, these statements about the complexities of art, the right of an artist to have an opinion, something we got to talk about. Because I'm seeing a lot of great artists who are pushed to the wayside because, I'm a liberal guy. I voted for Biden. I see these guys who are losing their jobs because they voted for Trump. I saw one guy lost his job, not an artist, but there was a police officer who lost his job because he donated to the Kyle Rittenhouse case. That's crazy to me. You donated money to a guy you thought was innocent in a court case. Why would you lose your job for these kinds of things? We're canceling people for very silly reasons. So don't let them tell you cancel culture doesn't exist. Thank you to Dave, frankly, for standing up against it. He's setting an example. He's saying these bullies don't have nearly as much power as we think they do. And for that, Dave, thank you very much. Well, what do you guys think? Was Dave Chappelle in the right with his special and his comments and goofing on teenagers? Is he not being sensitive enough? I don't know. I think he seems like a really nice guy. I'm not donating millions of dollars to a high school. I will never if I have $1 billion, none of it is going to teenagers because they suck. I hate. Now look, I'm exaggerating. Let's be real. Some teenagers are fine. I just think you guys spend too much time on your Twitter and your TikTok getting mad about everything not being diverse enough. You're starting to drive us all nuts. So in the comments, let me know what you think. We got more cool videos coming soon. Dave Chappelle. The GOAT, ladies and gentlemen. Cherish that you are on the earth at the same time as the great Dave Chappelle. What a time to be alive.